My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Central Hill Road, Acre, Mississippi, 38841. I am under attack by what appears to be Scientology. So there's more space in the universe than humans can see. There are 11 dimensions. They reside within the particle itself. You can consider our third dimension as a shell. There's more space inside of the particles in which we consist of. There's 11 dimensions in total. We have biology in this other place, 11 dimensional biology. We utilize this biology to have an afterlife. When we die, we live on. Scientology is the practice of utilizing this extra dimensional biology before we die. They remove it from themselves and they turn it into one or more biologies in which they can drive around the upper dimensions. There is an entanglement property between our third dimensions and our extra dimensions that allows us to work. So if you remove tissue or organs from our extra dimensions, no matter how far away you take it from us, we are still in this biology. What happens is you can't take energy out of the particle. The particle will be destroyed. So space-time has to conform to this action to try to keep the energy within the particle. So what it appears is happening is if you remove extra dimensional tissue from a biology, no matter how, or you take it far away from us, space time in between this extra dimensional biology and our third dimension shrinks. So as it leaves us, the space time in between it shrinks in an attempt to keep this energy inside of the particle. Scientology utilizes this property for part of their technology and techniques. So they like to remove brain tissue from themselves. Extra dimensional brain tissue. They usually take brain stems, our thalamus in their eyes, and other brain tissue. Sometimes they take the whole extra dimensional brain and they have a storage system. There's a compound on Earth in which they interface this extra dimensional biology into a computer system. So they use little pods or little boxes. They put your biology inside of this pod or box and they stick it inside of a storage system. And they use electrodes or sensors and devices to interface your tissue to a computer system. This acts as a form of telepathy. It allows the users to communicate with each other and interact with each other in a digital landscape. It also acts as a command center so these people can operate their upper dimensional biologies. They also utilize technology on their on the host biology or the origin biology. So whatever is attached to your third dimension, they also install or interface devices and sensors to this part of your biology. So they like to interface digital devices with our brain and central nervous system. And it also acts as a form of telepathy, which allows the users to communicate with each other and interact with each other in a digital landscape. It also has the ability to record information. So they can record sensory perception information. They can record our eyesight, our hearing, our taste, our touch, our smell. Plus, it acts like a phone service. So they give you a screen in your brain and bone and auditory devices. They allows you to see things and hear things, communicate with each other, and they can even have sexual relations with this form of technology. This technology also allows for the creation of surrogates. So these Scientologists can drive other organisms besides their own. They can drive humans, animals, insects, and worms. Lastly, this technology artificially stimulates brain tissue, nervous system tissue. So they can isolate individual memories, thought patterns, and stimulate this area of our brain. They can make you experience a memory, or they can make you experience a thought pattern. They can also stimulate the emotional center of our brain. So they can make you cry or feel joy. Plus, this technology elevates neurochemistry. So they run energy through the neurons, and this stimulates neurochemical production. So it elevates dopamine and norepinephrine and serotonin, which has an extremely narcotic-like effect upon the user. I'm being threatened. Someone just gave me a death threat. One of these Scientologists. He is here on his upper dimensions. And besides our biologists being entangled, so is the particles around us. So our homes also have extra dimensions. So does our ground and the trees and everything has an extra dimension. So these people also like to steal people's property. They can literally they have big biologies. Once a once a biology is removed from the owner and carried into outer space, it expands at a greater rate than we do on Earth. They become big compared to us. They can literally take our land and our homes and carry them to a different location. And the space time in between our third dimensional property and wherever they take it to shrinks. So they are in effect removing people's upper dimensions and taking them to a specific place, another place, in which they can gain access to your location through a remote means. They have done this to my property too, and other areas around the globe. Okay, so these Scientologists, they will remove their upper dimensional biology from themselves, and they modify it and turn it into one or more biologies in which they can control in the upper dimensions. They can drive it around just like we do in the third. These biologies can't function being cut and modified this way. They have to use organs and tissues from other humans and other species in an attempt to make themselves whole and function properly again. So they use organs and tissues from other humans, reptiles, insects, and worms. They make an alien form or several types of aliens. They make lizard people. They make insectoids, and they make worm people. Ever since Scientology started come onto the scene in the 50s and 60s, people have started reporting accounts of alien encounters. They see aliens or lizard people or insectoids, several types of aliens, usually in their sleep, or they start to hallucinate and see things. Or either that or they will wake up far away from their homes in a field or in the woods or in a different location and not be able to recount what happened, how they got there. This activity can be accounted for by Scientology's tech. Is they can even make you have an out of body experience, or they can make you wake up in outer space or in their spaceships or at their location. Yes, these are humans on Earth. Aliens are remote controlled biologies. Humans on Earth are driving their upper dimensions around the upper dimensions. Aliens are remote controlled biologies. Someone on Earth is utilizing their extra dimensions to uh, traverse the upper dimensions. I know who some of these people are. So the Scientology community is largely a criminal enterprise. We are seeing activities such as kidnapping, forced assimilation, exploitation, human trafficking, invasion of privacy, invasion of homes and businesses, breaking and entering. So they use their upper dimensions as lookouts to see people coming and going from their homes and businesses. They will break and enter to steal things or steal information or to modify this environment in some way. They like to use parasites, microbes, and viruses as a weapon against people. So they have several types of parasitic worms that grow to very big proportions in all dimensions. They will contaminate our food and water supply with parasites or microbes or viruses. And then they will drive these organisms through the human biology as a weapon. They do this through several means. Either they use drones to drop payloads, and they can use insects, such as houseflies, to carry a load of parasites into a person's drink or food. It is part of their surrogate making technology. And I have evidence that they are responsible for the corona outbreak, the COVID virus, which is not just a virus related deaths, but also parasites. That's it. No. That's it. No, that's it. That's it. So torture, rape, and murder are rampant among these people. There is no policing authority or nobody controlling the upper dimensions. These people can literally go anywhere in the world they want to and have an effect on the people or the environment. They make people sick. They like to sabotage people. They steal body parts, extra dimensional biology, either for use in their Scientology practices or for surrogate making or in an attempt to read people's minds or control their behavior. Yes, I'm very sick today. I got assaulted in the top of my brain today, right through here. I'm assuming it was upper dimensional assault. I'm one of their torture victims. Scientologists have torture, rape, and murder victims constantly, kidnapping, and they traffic humans. They also exploit humans. People of people with influence or authority or power, they get forced to assimilate by Scientology so they can control their behavior, or they practice Scientology on these people in an attempt to control their behavior or gather information. They have the ability to read the mind of a user with without very much without the user being very much aware. If you actually knew something was happening, you would knew. I mean, you would become aware of it. You experience things like dizziness, weakness, a loss of sensory perception, or loss of sensory perception. We don't know we have these upper dimensions while we are among the living, but we do, and we utilize them while we are among the living. Yes, so if they remove brain tissue or biology, it actually has an effect on the owner. We think it's a cold, or we're just having a bad day, or we're sick, or something we ate, or we're just tired. But it's actually these Scientologists uh, modifying our biology in some way that we are unaware. Social media like Facebook and marketing companies stealing people's biology, and they use a computer system. They want to read people's minds and invade their privacy. So, in an attempt to sell these people things, they show these people internet ads, commercials related to what's in their environment and what they are purchasing to try to increase consumerism. The government started using this technology for surveillance purposes, for surrogate making purposes, and for uh, behavioral control. But they're also getting out of hand. They are doing it for uh, personal reasons, and they're doing this in mass. So we're starting to see some very bad psychology within the Scientology community. These people are psychotic and delusional. They're extremely irritable. They have addictive tendencies. They are addicted to practicing Scientology on themselves and the public. They are addicted to stealing biology. They are addicted to criminal activity. We're seeing jealousy and greed and pettiness and machoism. This technology also stimulates other processes besides our brain and central nervous system. So they can stimulate hormone production, stimulate our glands and our lymphatic system and our endocrine system. It increases the production of hormones like testosterone and estrogen, which increases sexual behavior and uh, primitive behaviors like machoism. They can stimulate our digestion. Yes, these people are turned on to the max. Plus, they have this disposition, which they somehow think they are gods compared to us. They have a god complex. They think that third dimensional humans belong to them. They think they can do whatever they want to us, and they think they are above the law. They are literally conditioned to remove body parts for a living, to kidnap people, to exploit people, to control other people, to create surrogates. They are conditioned to do this. They do this as a form of employment and as a hobby. And to most of them, it's a religion. Yes, and they do get big compared to us. So if you remove your third dimension or if you remove your extra dimensions in an abnormal way, and you uh, take them far away from our third dimension, which is through the dimensions, towards the singularity, they start to expand at a greater rate than we do in the third dimension. They become big compared to us. Yeah, so if you were to remove your third dimensional right now and take it to a different location, far away from the third dimension, which is a which is a direction away from us, away from the third dimension, you expand at a greater rate, so you get big compared to us. You lose your anchor to space time, which is very dangerous because there is a place outside of this universe. If you lose your anchor to space time, if you get removed abnormally, you are at risk of falling through space time or getting locked out of entropy, which is highly dangerous. So I used to be a political activist on social media. There was a lot of people participating in politics. We discussed elected officials, lawmaking, policy, environmental issues, and we participated in elections, lawmaking, and policy. And I was also an author. I wrote a lot and inspired a lot of people. I helped a lot of people write their own literature and gain ideas. So someone in the Scientology community decided to force me to assimilate. So they installed devices into my brain and probably took biology, brain tissue, and such for for their storage system. Yes, social media. So I started hearing voices. At first, they just tried to control me, like they were here in my environment, telling me how to do my job, when I could take breaks. They don't understand. They didn't understand my job. I program machines to do the work for me. I'm a machinist, a tool and die maker. So I literally sit in a chair or stand there doing nothing, just waiting around. I guess they think that I'm not wasn't doing my job or something, because they literally started telling me, "Hey, do this, do that. Now you can take a break." Well, I told them to get away from me, to stop that behavior. And then other people came, and they were hostile. They were extremely mean and negative, meaning and harassed me constantly. Then it became apparent that the world was invading my privacy, that the public and the government could see into my environment. People started stealing my ideas and my literature right off the bat for magazine articles, podcasts, and other media. They started using my studies and my works and writing about the things that I was interested in. Then I became violently ill. I started getting weak and dizzy. I started to feel foreign objects stuck inside of me. Something was stuck in deep inside of my ear, in my face, in my neck, in my brain. I started going to the hospital to get scans done. This was shortly after assimilation. They didn't find anything, but I could feel it. It was there. My whole side of my face warped and deformed. I started having brain issues and I developed a lazy eye and I stayed ill. And people in the world started communicating with me. So media professionals, social media marketing companies, even the government and tech companies, and they used media to communicate with me. Then every once in a while, I would hear voices again coming out of my radio and television. It would be different from the normal broadcasting. Actually, someone standing there talking to me. Yes, I've been assaulted greatly this morning. I'm suffering from a wound. So what they do is they give me wounds and then they try to repair them. So as time went on, the communication grew worse and worse, and I felt more ill. I became sicker and sicker. I screamed at these people every night to stop for 13 years. Every night I would yell at these people every day to stop. It just continued to get worse. People around me started acting strange. My family, my coworkers, my friends, my neighbors, and they would cause bad things to happen. It would lead to catastrophes. Like a coworker would ask me for a ride. We would get in the car and be driving down the road, and an animal would run out in front of us and destroy my vehicle. This happened on multiple occasions. People would ask me for a ride that would lead to destruction of my vehicles. They can drive animals and other humans. They probably got paid off. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I've experienced. And then people started stealing more and more intellectual property. So I wrote Crazy Bird Comics. I wrote the Environment Creation Agency or Environmental Control Agency. I wrote Divine Currency or Buffalo Dollars, Alien Bob, Bug Bob, and several others. Then one day, they installed more technology. So they gave me a screen and more technology, and they probably took more brain tissue. So I started seeing things and hearing things. So I actually started seeing the people that were involved. I seen insectoids, worms, and humans. I seen aliens or alien forms on Earth, on Earth, in my surrounding area. And then they also showed me pictures of them in outer space. So there's blue bloods up there and giant insectoids and giant humans and giant worm people. So these humans on Earth started showing me their remote control biologies. You okay, Shishi? They're assaulting my animals at the moment. So they started stealing my body parts. They fell in love with my ability to create and write literature. They seen it as something extremely valuable, and they've been making money off of it for a long time. So then they wanted the ability to do it for themselves. First, they tried tethers. They tried literally tethering my brain to another person's. Then they just started stealing my extra dimensional brain tissue and central nervous system tissue, and they used it as a transplant for their own biology. Yes, they are addicted. These people are exhibiting extremely addictive behavior. They paparazzi people, and they get addicted to people or behaviors. They are addicted to Scientology, so they are literally addicted to other people's body parts. Okay, baby. One of them said, "I'm going to take your dog away from you." And what institution you belong to? Yes, these people are here on their extra dimensions, and this property is also there. They have removed my home and the land that I own and took it somewhere else. So we're going to get your baby's biology. I was going to play a little game today. They do this every day. So as time went on, they stole more and more biology from me, especially brain tissue. They used it for transplant purposes or surrogate making purposes, and also for a torture device. So because of this entanglement property, You can literally remove someone's extra dimensional biology, take it far away from them, and then kill them or torture them from a remote location. All you have to do is destroy someone's extra dimensional biology, and our third dimensions can't survive anymore. I've experienced this over and over and over again. Now I am on a massive amount of life support because of their uh, assault and torture. And because of this entanglement property, and because space time shrinks in between us and our removed biology, from one angle, it looks like there's no space time. You can actually it looks like nothing has been removed. It becomes opaque or something from what they tell me. From another angle, you actually see these bands of warp in space time that goes all the way through your missing biology. And so if you drink something or eat something, or the fluids that flow through your biology, once they get to this missing tissue, it actually shoots up this band of space time into your missing biology. It goes through your biology and it shoots back and it continues to go through your system. I am severely sick. So are my animals. So this turned into biological theft. Then it turned into a snuff film. So they're literally torturing me and assaulting me and my family over and over and over again. And they're trying to come up with some false narrative which says I've done something wrong or am doing something wrong, which somehow validates their criminal behavior towards me. I've had I've suffered brain damage this morning and experiencing cognitive decline. So I'm not functioning properly. Plus they have me uh, they are trying to stimulate my brain tissue in certain ways that keep me from freaking out or becoming extremely stressed like I used to. And then there's the conditioning. So I've been conditioned to this behavior towards me. Yes, I used to get up and run every day, nonstop. I'd run from these people, freak out, scream all the time. Is they're literally up there assaulting my animals at this very moment. Uh, 12/26/2024 at 10:24 a.m. Somebody is assaulting me and my family in the upper dimensions. Mississippi Public Broadcasting, NPR, Facebook, Microsoft, Google, Barack Obama, the CIA, the military, and the FBI, plus the local police from multiple precincts were also all involved. Yes, this started out as exploitation. So they kidnapped me and forced me to assimilate in an attempt to control my behavior. These Scientologists like to drive other people and control other people, especially people with influence or authority or any kind of power, or maybe special employment. Maybe you have a job that is related to their endeavors. So these Scientologists will want to control you in an attempt for monetary or personal gain. And they also take people for attractive reasons. So they like attractive people, or especially our entertainment professionals, our actors. They get they get worked on or did in a lot. They're all missing body parts, or all are under Scientology's influence, and some of them are actually practicing Scientology. And then there's our government officials, so they got a lot of these people too. I'm extremely ill, violently ill. I'm weak and dizzy. I'm experiencing cognitive decline. This morning they cut the top part of my brain on this side, and literally one eye went this way. I got real dizzy. It felt like upper dimensional assault. Please get away from me and my family. Yeah, so they also have devices inside of my biology, or had devices. They won't let me consume my food and water properly. It is a they call it an inverse separator, or it removes our extra dimensional uh, nutrition. They also contaminate my food and water supply or destroy it. So they can remove extra dimensions inverse from our food and water using devices or their hands or parasites. They like to contaminate my food and water with parasites and contaminants. Plus, they like to assault me. They don't want me to feel pleasure in any way. So, as I'm drinking coffee in the morning or smoking a cigarette, they like to assault my brain in a way in which it stops caffeine or nicotine from having an effect on me. They don't want me to sleep. So, when you sleep, it feels good. They hate this. They are petty and jealous. So, they don't want me to feel good in any way. So, they won't let me sleep. Or if I do sleep, they make sure it's not a very good sleep. Pettiness. These psychological issues stem from several factors, which includes one, being conditioned to practice Scientology, which is removing body parts from people, and then making surrogates, which is literally killing a person and driving their biology, or forced assimilation, exploitation, and human trafficking, which is basically kidnapping and taking over another person's life. And then there's biological theft, and then there's their criminal activity, the home invasion, invasion of privacy, uh, mind reading, trying to control behavior, contamination of food and water supply, their terrorist activities, destroying uh, private property or food and water supplies, and so on and so forth, coupled with their elevated neurochemistry and artificially stimulated brain tissue. This is mainly the energy. They literally run energy through their thought patterns in which they can choose. This is someone we're just like this. So their elevated dopamine levels is causing severe irritability. They are severely irritable. They get irritated constantly, or they stay that way. So they have created a vendetta against me, or an agenda. They want to hurt me and my family. They want to do it for spite. It makes them feel good. If I lose biological function, or if I get sick, or it makes them feel good to premeditate my death. I'm in pain. I'm dizzy. So are my animals. You okay, Sissy? So, in these people's actions, as they are committing these crimes, this torture and rape and murder and terrorist activities, people are seeking justice. They want these people to be stopped in the act or done away with. And people get so upset that these people are doing this and no one's doing anything about it. So these people will get one of their trafficked humans or a random individual and they will murder this person or torture them and send them to hell and then call this justice. And they're doing this to many people. Plus, they are responsible for the COVID outbreak and all these trafficked humans and body snatching. cowards. They call themselves God, God Almighty. They're gods compared to us. They are our leaders. Yet they kill the people they're supposed to be leading, or they will put these people in front of them. Terrorists. Big old mighty macho man killing little innocent people to try to save himself. And I'm witnessing some very disgusting behavior within these people. They're like, oh, well, what to do? They're happy and like, ha, ha, ha. Because they believe that nothing bad is going to happen to them, or they know nothing bad is going to happen to them. It is happening to other people. They like to hang on to every word I have or every thought that I have. And they get irritated and jealous and petty. They don't want me to think a certain way, or if I do start to feel good and start to joke around, they assault me because they don't want me to have it. They don't want me to feel good. Oh, these are aliens. Anunnaki survive on their own steam. Our dead people have homeostasis. They can survive without anybody's help. The aliens can't. The aliens have to utilize transplants from other humans and other organisms, which includes their particle flow. And they also have to have artificial stimulation. So this soul tube that I mentioned, it is a sexual organ. It is a tube which runs, it's an extra dimensional organ or appendage. It runs the length of our spinal column. It it interfaces with our sexual organs. So it has nerves that come out of it. It's a hollow tube. It interfaces with our sexual organs. It also has this little drum looking appendage, which also is provides some kind of sexual function. And it goes straight up our spinal column, straight into our brain. It just sits right in the middle of our brain, in front of our medulla. It is an extra dimensional uh, organ. So this thing is filled with nerves and blood vessels. They actually run an electrode into the base of it and stimulate this soul tube. This gives everyone that practices Scientology an artificial energy source in it to allow them to function. The aliens do not eat us. They eat cheeseburgers. They are sitting on their they're sitting somewhere on the third dimension. They are humans. Aliens are remote controlled organisms. Yes, and they can also make Anunnaki. They can take the upper dimensionals of their biology, and it has the same features of an Anunnaki, but it's hollow, it's empty. They have to use organs and transplants from other organisms. Well, there's modification that goes on here. It's not a true Anunnaki. It's not a dead person. Dead people can survive on their own. They're supposed to go into outer space and never return to Earth. Okay, baby. Yes, I get salted over and over and over again. I am very weak and dizzy. I'm missing brain function. I can't think like I used to. Yes, I'm experiencing many different phone services. Since there's an entanglement property, they have removed many different, uh, they have cut my biology into a million pieces. That's why I'm here in many different institutions communicating with me. And they're utilizing all the sensory perception input to manufacture or modify evidence where it looks like they're not doing anything wrong to me or that I've done something wrong or had a bad thought or something. And they try to exhibit a self defense response or thinking. Like they show me the authorities. They actually show me, make me hallucinate that the authorities are sitting here doing this to me. And then other people, and they try to make me mad at these people to have a bad thought or something, wanting to defend myself. They are delusional. And then there's the perception of time. So our third dimension see time as a linear event. Time is actually a simultaneous event. Dead people and the Scientologists perceive time as a simultaneous event. So they see the past, the present, and the future happening at the same time. So at this very moment, they are they are forcing me to assimilate 13 years ago. And at this very moment, they have turned my father into a surrogate, and he is giving me a name. He is naming me in the hospital. He gave me the name Christopher. That's not supposed to be my name. I'm supposed to be Robert Wayne Weathers. So now my name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. Also, they could sell this torture to death and biological theft on this whole event to the Christian community and to the rest of society as a Christian martyrdom, which adds to the validation or the excuse of their criminal behavior towards me. And they continuously try to create some false narrative in which somehow justifies their criminal behavior towards me. And plus, they can see the future. So they know what's going to happen to them in the future, which is why they are so criminal in the first place. They know they're going to get away with it. And the big ones that can actually see space time, that can actually see the future, they keep telling me, well, they're going to get away with it, but a lot of these people aren't. So it's the innocent people that are getting hurt and going down for this. And it's the people with the big one that can control the future. They're the ones that are going to get away with it. They see time as a simultaneous event. They are already in the future, premeditating, or as I die. And they say they're going to steal my intellectual property. They are there already. But then I also see this perspective that they're also in the moment. They also have third dimensions that are experiencing time linearly that are trying to get away with this criminal activity in the third dimension. I see them freaking out, and then they're trying to come up with some false narrative or modify or manufacture evidence, and then they get back up on their big one and they say, "Well, does this work? Does this work?" Well, it works for some of them, but not all of them. And as time goes by, I see a lot of people getting hurt or killed or sent to hell, all while these people are jumping back and forth, trying to get away with this criminal activity. It's addictive behavior. They have something to gain. I just got assaulted. They're saying I shouldn't be smoking. I have a right to smoke. I'm in the privacy of my own home. They are so addicted to watching me think. They have made so much money off of it, gained so much knowledge and so many ideas that they're trying to steal my brain tissue and they're going to try to keep it stimulated even after death, even though it makes me suffer for personal and monetary gain. These people are delusional, psychotic, and they aren't very smart. It's tyranny. It is tyrannical. However, the Scientology community has gone to great lengths to ensure that this technology is classified or is not common knowledge. So even most of the government don't have knowledge of Scientology. Therefore, it's not really tyrannical. It is a rogue activity. If it was tyrannical, it would be public. Rogue activity in the government and the and criminal activity in the civilian sector.